What's up, wrestling fans? It's your boy Chris Style. You were tuned in to the Style Breakdown with Chris Style. This is episode 9, AEW recap, Dynamite recap. Recap what I saw from Dynamite yesterday. Give you my thoughts on how I felt about the whole card and the whole night of Dynamite. AEW's been cooking a lot lately, man. They've been doing their thing, man. They starting to get, a lot of fan bases. A lot of the fan bases, they're getting real hyped. They've been doing a really good job, and the numbers are starting to booster back up with the people attending and people watching, getting new fans to watch AEW, and I'm really happy that AEW is starting to get back its luster that it had, when it first started. It had a little point where it wasn't doing too good. Storylines were all over the place. I think it was getting a little convoluted as far as some of the superstars in there. But I think they're starting to, finally Tony is starting to weed it out and getting back to, storylines and who's a superstar, who's not, and all that good stuff. So shout out to AEW, man. I really, really love what I'm seeing from them. But let's get with the card, man. Let's get with what happened last night on AEW. So, hold on, give me a second, people. Let me pull this up. All right. So the first match was MJF versus Kevin Knight for the TNT Championship. This was a challenge laid out from last week. And, Kevin Knight pretty much told MJF he isn't good enough for the TNT Championship, so MJF took it upon himself he wanted to ruin Kevin Knight's night and take that belt because he really doesn't care about the belt. But, it would make him happy to take the belt from him. And it was a really good match, man. Really good back and forth, but there was a point where, Kevin Knight tries to do a Frankensteiner, his knee buckles on him, and that was pretty much, the story of the match where Kevin Knight's knee was bothering him. He couldn't, perform certain moves, and MJF tried to take advantage of the knee, concentrating on the knee. But the segment of the ending of the match is, MJF grabs the TNT belt. He's going to hit Kevin Knight with him, but the ref sees it, snatches the belt from him. But it was really just a ploy to distract the ref, take his that diamond ring out of his shorts to hit Kevin Knight with it. But Kevin Knight hits him with the low blow, rolls him up. 1, 2, 3, MJF loses. So, of course, MJF, while Kevin Knight is celebrating, hits him from behind, is gearing up to hit him with the diamond ring. And Darby Allin does his best Sting impression, comes down from the Raptors, gets in the ring, hits MJF with the Scorpion Death Drop. While MJF rolls out to the ring, he gets on the mic, tells Darby Allin, you two, both of you cheaters, coming together, that's real good. He said he really doesn't care about Kevin Knight. The match doesn't really count. Tells the crowd to shut up. But then he tells Darby Allin he wants his rematch. The only thing that matters to him is his Triple B. He wants his rematch. The crowd yells no. Darby says no. The only way he's going to give him his rematch is if MJF puts something on the line. And I can only speculate that MJF is going to put his career on the line at Double or Nothing against Darby Allin. And I would think that MJF would probably win that match. But I could be wrong. But I think, or not put his career, I'm sorry. Let me reframe that. He put him not challenging for the belt on the line. That's what it will be. It's either going to be his career or him not challenging for the belt anymore. So he's going to put something major on the line. But I think they're gearing up for MJF versus Darby Allin at Double or Nothing. And it's fitting, Double or Nothing. So that I think that's pretty much the direction they're going to go with that match right there. Then you had the Brawling Birds come out. They did a squash match against the local talent. This is just pretty much to get the Brawling Birds back on track, get them in the winning column because they both back-to-back lost to Tekla So they're just going to get these ladies back on track, get them going. Um, then after the match, Tekla and Sky Blue, they're all they do like a little backstage vignette where Tekla talks about, she can't stop calling the women in the division dumb bitches. She just can't help it. Tells the Brawling Birds, stay in the tag team division because you can't compare to me. Both of y'all couldn't beat me. So it's just best that y'all just stay in the tag team division, and pretty much saying that, there's nobody who can mess with Tekla. So then you had Ace Austin versus Okada. Of course, Don Callis comes out with Okada. Really good match. Showed, Ace Austin, he's one of those, young talent that, you could see he's a very good talent, has the charisma too, has potential to be a future in AEW. I could see the TNT champion. I wouldn't mind seeing him and Kevin Knight, have a match against each other. But I could see Ace Austin eventually being a TNT champion one day. Yeah, man, it was a really good match. Of course, Okada, he wins, hits a tombstone on Ace Austin, then hits him with the Rainmaker, gets the pin, 1, 2, 3. But after the match, Takeshita comes out pretty much taunting, showing that, doing the little belt, that belt's coming home with me. They have their Continental Championship or international championship against each other at Double or Nothing. They've already announced that match, so it's going to be Takeshita and Okada for the international championship. So going to be a really good match. I would imagine that they drop the belt to Takeshita at Double or Nothing. Then there was a vignette with you see dirt road and like this like little Western type vibe, where they show the saloon and there's like people laid out, and then next thing you know, you see somebody fly out the saloon and he's bloody and he's putting his hand up like, pleading to, please don't hurt him, and he runs away hobbling. Next thing you see somebody with some black boots, black jeans. He's walking. Next thing you see, and before that, you saw wanted posters of Bandino. Next thing you know it, there's one of those wanted posters in dirt. Hand picks it up. It's Swerve Strickland. Prince Nana hands over a blowtorch. Swerve burns it, smiles into the camera while he's burning. Then he gets a serious face. So that leads to believe that Swerve is coming after Bandino's ROH Heavyweight Championship. So that should be a good match, man. I'm looking forward to that match. I would imagine that they're probably going to give that belt to Swerve. I'm sure Swerve is going to do some awesome things. The same way that Athena is doing great things with the women's belt, even though I want Athena to drop that belt and get back on AEW programming so I can get her to start going for TBS championships. I would love Athena to beat Willow Nightingale for the TBS championship. Because I just think Athena would be good. She needs to be on the main stage. No disrespect to ROH, but she needs to be on the main stage. But I do think that Swerve will be the new ROH champion, and I think that he's going to do some good things because of his visibility. No disrespect to Bandino. I think Bandino is an awesome champion. He's an awesome wrestler. He's a fan favorite. I love Bandino. But I just think Swerve can take that belt and do some things as far as the marketing standpoint of it. So I think they're going to put the belt on Swerve for sure. Then you saw another segment. It starts, you see the Death Riders. They're in this like little, basement area. They're training. Daniel Garcia pretty much said, this is how we do it here in the Death Riders. They say, Will Ospreay, he shows up with a bag. John Moxley, he seems excited seeing that he showed up. He pretty much tells Will Ospreay, everything that's on your mind, you need to drop it mentally. All that baggage, you need to leave it behind if you're going to come train with us. Of course. Well, first he asked Ospreay, was he medically cleared? And Will Ospreay said no, but he said he's going to New Japan to help his. I'm pretty sure he's helping his boys in and his crew over in New Japan. I forgot the name. United. Oh, man, I forgot the name. My bad. But he's going to. He said he was going to go over there to help them. And, you know, Moxley said, you know, loyalty, you know, he pretty much gave him props for the loyalty. But he pretty much told him he needs to drop everything mentally. You know, the beef that he had between those two, need to drop that. Anything else in your past, you need to drop that if you're going to train. So Moxley says, you know, I mean, Ospreay says, okay. And there was a little stare down between Moxley and Pac. There's some tension there. I think that's going to lead to the storyline. So then Ospreay says, you know, where's the ring at? And he says, nah, we don't start in the ring. We start from the ground up. So we're going to start at basement level, and then we'll work our way up to the ring. And then he tells the camera, like, you know, this is private. Like, this part right here, you can't watch. So then we get Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus Roppongi Vice. This was a really good match. It was a long match, but it was a really good match. Good back and forth. Of course, they're going to highlight Christian's arm with the brace on it. That's what Roppongi Vice pretty much did, pretty much taking Christian pretty much out of the match for a lot. There was FTR and Stokely had come out ringside to watch the match, to do commentary. Stokely did a lot of commentary. You know, FTR was kind of getting involved in a little bit. But then there was a spot with Orange Cassidy. He's right there ringside with them. FTR tries to, you know, hit Orange Cassidy. He ducks it and throws the popcorn bucket at him. The whole conglomeration, you know, pretty much starts a fight with FTR. They get into it. But it was really good. There was a spot where it looked like Christian or Cope was going to hit Trent Beretta with the spear. He ended up leapfrogging him, and it almost looked like Trent Beretta he was trying to do a dirty pin. The referee caught him. Cope lifts him up. Cage hits him with the spear, and then Cage and Cope get the 1, 2, 3. Post match, you see Christian come in with a chair and like this pole. He hands it to Copeland, and Cope grabs it, hits him with like a crossface with the bar in his mouth. Christian has the mic in his hand, says, you know, you better quit. You know, say you quit. Pretty much, he said he quit. Beretta kind of shoves the mic out of his face. Copeland puts him in the crossface again, and says, you say quit. Tell him, say I quit. He says, I quit. Christian tells Trent Beretta, if it was me, I would have never quit, you little bitch. Pretty much talking trash. But yeah, Cage and Cope, they're getting ready for their match against FTR. And yeah, that should be a really good match. Then you had Divine Dominion versus Karashita and Chris Statlander. This was a really good match. This is for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Also, just to mention, Okada and Ace Austin was for the International Champion too. But this is for the Tag Team Championship. Really good match. Really good back and forth. There was a spot where Karashita did an exploder to Chris Statlander to Megan Bain in the corner. But all in all, at the end, Divine Dominion got the upper hand, hit Karashita with the Falcon. I think it was a Falcon Arrow slam, and Karashita took the pin, and Divine Dominion ended up retaining the AEW World Women's Tag Team Champions. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with her next. Do with them next. I'm thinking that they're gonna start revving up the Brawling Birds to be the ones who take down Divine Dominion. I think that's where they're gonna lead to. Maybe at Double or Nothing, we get Divine Dominion versus the Brawling Birds, and the Brawling Birds get the tag titles at Double or Nothing. Then you had a backstage segment with Don Callis, Andrade, and MJF. And MJF is pretty much blaming Andrade for losing to Darby Allin. This is why we're in this mess. This is how I lost my belt. And, you know, Andrade does his little, how do you know? And he just kept saying, "How do you know?" Every time MJF asked him a question, "How do you know?" And so MJF starts getting mad. They start having a little shoving match. Don Callis steps in and says, "Hey man, this is my money maker over here. You are the money. Let's just, let's keep it cool. We'll be all right." They go their separate ways. Roosh has a solo match. He goes out there, does his 1-2, does his thing. They're building Roosh up. He's starting to have these matches where he just, shows his ability. I think they're building him up to do something. Hopefully, maybe this leads to maybe a championship or something. But Roosh is one of the better competitors in AEW. I want to see this dude shine, man, because he has all the capabilities. Yeah, he could speak on the mic when he needs to be. He's a beast in the ring. He has the look. So, yeah. And Roosh, of course, he does his post-match. He speaks a little Spanish, then says it in English, and always hit you with the, when you mess with the bull, you get the herds. So, shout out to Roosh, man. Then there was a backstage interview with the Ops, Samoa Joe. He gets to speaking about how the Ops need to get back to dominance on AEW. He goes down the line. Shibata, the guys like Shibata, talks about Anthony Bowens being a part of the crew now. Very underrated, underutilized, and now with the Ops, we're going to use him to his fullest potential. You're going to see the best version of Anthony Bowens. Of course, Hook, gives props to Hook, and then he says, we, tired of, letting everybody just get their shine on. And then he extends an invitation to Will Ospreay. Now, we all know Will Ospreay is now working with the Death Riders to get back that fire, that get Will Ospreay to get to his fullest potential. But now that the Ops have put in a bid for Will Ospreay, this is going to lead to a storyline, maybe between the Ops and the Death Riders, and Will Ospreay will make his decision. Will he turn on Samoa Joe and them and the Ops and side with the Death Riders, or will he go with the Ops? We're gonna see. We're gonna see where Will Ospreay goes. This is going to get really, really interesting. Then you had another segment where the FTR challenges the conglomeration for the trio championships after they had their confrontation with them, and they've added Tommaso Ciampa to their crew to challenge for those trio champions. So I can imagine that that's going to happen sometime soon, maybe next week, maybe after Cage and Copeland does their match with them. Maybe after that they'll go after those trio championships, and I imagine that they'll take that off the conglomeration. And then, of course, we had our main event, Darby Allin versus Brody King for the AEW World Championship. And, man, this match was crazy. We all know that Darby, he's going to put his body on the line. That dude's not going to, he ain't going to be able to walk in about 2 years. I'm not wishing this on Darby, but the way this dude that allows his body to get thrown around, it's just, I don't know how he's going to be able to walk soon. Like, his body's going to be messed up. Maybe he can handle it, but he's still young. But Brody King was slapping dudes, smacking him across his chest, throwing him into stuff, throwing him to tables, everything. But there was a spot where he lifted up the ring, the side matting on the ring side. Darby got the best of him, did the coffin drop onto Brody King. It looked like he was ultimately about to lose to count out. He gets in right at 9.99. Gets back in the ring, but Darby's ready for him. Hits the coffin drop to his back. And then Brody King rolls over, hits the coffin drop again, gets the 1, 2, 3. Brody King, Darby Allin retains his AEW World Championship. Really good match. He had a really good match against Tommaso Ciampa last week. So I think this is the direction they're going to go with Darby. He's going to just put on some great matches as AEW World Champion. And this will lead on to him and Darby, or him and MJF at Double or Nothing. I imagine so. So shout out to AEW. Shout out to Darby Allin. Shout out to Brody King. They put on for AEW for sure. And everybody who was on the card. I know they announced something with the AEW Redemption. I think that's going to be like in Montreal or something like that. So that's going to be interesting to see where that goes. But really, really dope night for wrestling. AEW Dynamite, really good. But yeah, man, that's my pretty much my recap for AEW Dynamite. Hope you guys enjoyed me talking about it and what I had to say. Leave a comment in the comment section. Tell me what you felt about Dynamite. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on all social media platforms at CrisDow702. And man, I'll be back next week with some more recaps. Until then, I am out.